The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Hi there, everybody. Let's make sure that the screen is working. That should be there. Teresa French, how are you? How are things in the great Midwest?
I am fantastic, Mr. Newman. How about yourself in PA, Philly, Philly?
It's okay. We have a little last minute snow over here, so that's kind of ticking me off. But
You can keep it. We're
yeah,
through it. Well, I'm hoping we're through it. A couple of years ago, we had a snow in May and we dropped about 16 inches. So you never really know if you're in the clear until it's June or July around here. So,
so I'm not really wanting to hear that story because
well,
it's probably going to happen here. Like the snowblower is still at the ready.
yeah, I'm gonna call it. You are done with snow. We may still get some. Let's just leave it at that.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, so for the folks that are popping in here, we got about 60 seconds till we're getting rolling here. Just want to make sure you can see and hear everything okay. So you should be seeing the title slide, High Fee Speaker Secrets. You've got Teresa's smiling face. You've got me with the glasses. And hopefully the audio is coming across loud and clear. If that's the case, just type in yes in the question box. Pop open that little question box there and make sure that we can hear and see you and you can hear and see us and all of that's connected the way it needs to be connected. So
It looks
Michael,
like we're coming through loud
yeah,
and clear. Michael says, got it. Everybody,
fantastic.
David says, we're good.
So Jill is here. Great to see you, my friend, and Richard and Jeff and Ellen and Vanessa and Tracy and Peggy. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Fantastic. And Jerry's here and Marsha's here, and apparently they can all see and hear all this wonderful, crazy stuff. So with that, because the audio is loud and clear, can audio be clear? I guess it can. I'm not sure video can be loud. Although this video is going to be loud, so let's get to it. Let's get right
Let's
to it. Let's,
underway.
we're going to do crystal clear audio and loud video. And we'll see. We'll see where that ends us up. We'll see if we can make that happen. All right, gang. Well, welcome to High Fee Speaker Secrets, how to market, monetize, and maximize your speaking-driven business fast. Let's make sure that you're in the right place. You didn't just get lost on the interwebs. This is for you if you want to become a better entrepreneur of your expertise. What do I mean by that? If you're a speaker, author, coach, consultant, trainer, any sort of thought-leading entrepreneur or professional service provider, this is going to be a game changer for the rest of the quarter, for the rest of the year, maybe for the rest of your professional life. Basically, if you use your expertise, knowledge, or wisdom to create unique breakthroughs for your clients and audiences, this masterclass is for you. So here's our agenda. We've got 5 things to cover, and we're going to go deep on some of these. How to turn your expertise into an additional $10,000 or $20,000 per month using your speaking-driven profit centers, even if that number right now, with where you are and what you've experienced so far in the first quarter, month 1, month 2, month 3, even if that seems totally ridiculous and out of reach right now, we're going to unlock some dials and help you see your way clear to make that happen. How to create, market, and monetize other profit centers beyond speaking, built around expertise you already have. How to command premium fees. Big talk about money, because obviously you can't have high fee speaker secrets unless you've mastered the concept of quoting and getting high fees. So we need to stop the craziness. Stop doing what you might have been doing, which is undercharging and under-earning. Stop selling your keynote seminars and trainings for anything less than $4,500 and how to quickly move to a $5,500 or $6,500 or even $7,500 price point, even if those fees might not be in your current experience. And we've got some success stories and some case studies to share with you where our clients are doing that over and over and over and over again. How to target and connect with high probability prospects, how to gain their trust, and how to sell your services more easily and more often. And then how to do all of this without overwhelm, burnout, cold calling, or all the marketing monkey work that you hate. And I'll tell you, here's a little secret. Teresa and I hate it too. We hate it more than you do because it doesn't generate results. And if you keep doing things that don't produce results, and then you're scratching your head going, hey, where's my results? Obviously, there's a logical disconnect there, and we're going to help you break that once and for all. So here's my overall promise to you. In this masterclass webinar, you are getting a step-by-step strategy to take you to a reliable additional 10 to 20K per month of speaking-driven income. And we're going to do that step by step. We're going to break it down. We're going to give you the exact specifics of what you need to fix, what you need to look at, what might be missing, funky, broken, sad, and how to adjust it. And for many of the folks that we work with, it's not even a big adjustment. It might be 10, 15, 20% shift in what you're doing and how you're doing it. And that's going to unlock the floodgates to your success. So does this sound like you? Do you have trouble getting clients and you just don't know how to do it consistently? And Teresa, you and I were talking about this, that's really the magic word, isn't it?
It is consistency, persistence, and consistence. That's the secret sauce.
It's the CPC, consistently, persistently, and with consistency.
That's right.
Which might sound repetitive, but anytime we have the chance to say the word consistent or consistency or consistently twice, we're going to say it twice. Heck, we're going to say it 3 times because that's really the secret sauce. Having a $20,000 month once is not going to help you. Having a month after month after month, reliable, repeatable, consistent $20,000 a month stream of revenue and a consistent flow of clients and cash that brings that in, that's the secret sauce. Of course, if it's not consistent, then you've got the feast and famine revenue roller coaster with wild ups and downs. Sometimes the downs are like 0, and the ups might be $4,000, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $20,000. But then again, you're back to 0 the next month, or all kinds of crazy stuff starts to happen. Do you have great content and get great results for your clients, but you find yourself just lost in the noise? You don't stand out, and you feel like a best-kept secret. So let's just do a quick poll right here. If your challenge is consistency, type in the letter C. If it's feast or famine, type in the letter F, like feast. And if it's lost in the noise, you just can't stand out, type in the letter L for the word lost. So it's going to be C for consistency is your big problem. F, like Frank, for feast or famine, if you're finding yourself there. And then L for lost in the noise. Don't stand out. Articulation problem, distinction problem, same old lame-o speaker syndrome. Teresa, what do we got here for our consistency, feast and famine, or lost in the noise?
Well, we've got a lot of L's for lost in the noise. Dawn as a feast. We've got Eva as a lost. Richard says he's a C for consistency. You know, I'm actually surprised there's not more consistent. Oh, here they are. They're showing up now. We've got Dennis's consistency. Jerry says consistency. We got a few, David, that are C, F, and L. All of them, all the above.
I hear you.
Ouch.
I hear you, and I feel you for sure.
Hey, Bob. Bob's on the line today. He's consistency.
Yeah.
We've got Jill, feast and famine. Yeah, these are painful problems too. Consistency brings about a whole lot of lack mentality and white knuckling it, and that's no fun.
Right, exactly right, exactly right. But are we done? Of course we're not done. Number 4, do you secretly know that your work is worth more than what you're charging, but you're afraid that if you raise your fees, no one will pay them, or that you can't find prospects that have that kind of budget? And then, of course, you start out every month wondering where your next client or prospect will come from, which is another form of the feast and famine lack of consistency. We don't need to pull this one, but just in case people thought that 1, 2, and 3 were bad enough, I threw on 2 more just for fun. And then at the end of the day, of course, all of this means that you're probably working way too hard for not enough money and just not sure how to fix it until you landed here with Teresa and with me, and we are going to show you how to fix it. So here's bouncers. Bouncers standing outside the secret club. See if you felt this way. And you could be an early, kind of, early career or early stage speaker, consultant, entrepreneur. We talk to a lot of mid-career and even senior level folks that have been doing this for 20, 25 years, and they go, man, That secret club thing you're talking about, I still wrestle with that. Here's what I mean. Do you feel like there's a secret club of other people, other experts, other consultants, other speakers, highly paid, successful, they've cracked the code, and for some reason they're just not letting you in? These bouncers are not letting you in to whatever that secret society, whatever that secret club is, where everyone has this dialed in. Everyone's out with a New York Times bestseller. Everyone has, $10,000 speaking gigs filling their calendar. Everyone has massive online courses and always full coaching programs. Basically, they can make no mistake, and you're just scratching your head going, man, how do I get onto first base? How do I get onto second base? How do I do this consistently? How do I start hitting some runs? How do I start scoring some points? So here's the deal. The real problem is that you don't know these secrets that we're about to share. By the end of this webinar, you will know the secrets, and a lot of these problems, hopefully, you'll have some clarity and some insight on how to start to tackle. What most speaker gurus teach is dead wrong, out of date, woefully out of date in many cases, and it will make you broke. What you need is a specific roadmap, compass, and a GPS. In other words, a reliable, repeatable system that will show you the way and will show you the path, the fastest path and the shortest path to results and to revenue, not random tactics. Because as you know, if you guys have been around the block, and there's many successful mid-career and even advanced speakers on here, like Jill, like Joe, like Rob, like a lot of these people whose names I saw flying by, you guys that have been around the block, you already know this. Random activity always leads to random results. And Teresa and I don't want that for you anymore. That can end right now. That can be over right here as of today, Q2 2018. We turn off the crazy and we turn on the money. That's what we're going to do, Teresa. We're going to turn off the crazy.
I love that.
And we're going to turn on the money.
Turn off the crazy, turn on the checks through the door, the money machine.
That's our new hashtag, is turn off the crazy.
I like that.
Because once you know these secrets, here's how your life's going to be transformed, your life and your business. You're going to get hired consistently, our favorite word. You're going to get hired consistently and be able to get more gigs at higher fees. And we're going to come back to that myth of supply and demand, and I'll get more gigs if I lower my fee. Absolutely not true. We're going to bust that later on. We're going to bust that myth. You'll be seen as a true expert who both speaks more and earns more. You'll generate new business easily by turning speaking into clients. You'll realize that there never was a secret club, or that you're already in the secret club, you're just not using the right keys, and you're going to push through to a six-figure or multi-six-figure income faster than you ever thought possible. And you will do all of this while tapping into the joy that you first had when you started your speaking-driven business. Because not many people start a speaking or coaching or consulting business to struggle. They don't start that kind of business to be banging their head against the brick wall month after month after month and year after year after year. Even if you have some level of success and you have that stuck, you just hit that stuckness curve and you're like, man, this used to be fun. This used to be easy. I thought I'd be further along by now. Holy smokes, when did this get so hard? And that's not why you started. You started because you're great at what you do. You love what you do. You love your work. You love your clients. You love your audiences. And you want to be in front of them and with them, serving them and helping them as often as you can, as much as you can. And once you master this marketing and sales and business development stuff, you will get to do what you want to do once you learn to do what you have to do to make that happen. I'm going to drop that little value bomb on you one more time. You are going to get to do what you want to do once you learn to do what you have to do to make that business a reality in your world. So let's talk about these 5 secrets that you need to hit $200,000 or $300,000 or even $500,000 of speaking-driven revenue as an expert who speaks professionally. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to make these changes and shifts that I've been talking about. For those folks that might be new, that do not know me, have not been on a previous webinar, have not been getting my emails and videos and all the crazy stuff that Teresa and I are pumping out for you, I am known as the top marketing mentor for speakers, authors, coaches, and consultants. I'm a $10,000 marketing speaker myself. I'm a certified speaking professional through the National Speakers Association. So that is a designation that's held by about 10% of speakers worldwide. I spent a year myself as a meeting planner and conference producer. I hired over 160 speakers, so I've sat on the buyer's side of the table. And I've also mentored and coached over 500 successful clients doing exactly what it is that you want to do, which is to launch or relaunch a successful speaking-driven business. And Teresa and I have had the pleasure and the privilege of running a multiple six-figure hybrid training, coaching, and consulting business since 2009, every single year since 2009, crossing over now into the seven figures. I share that with you simply to say that you want to be very, very careful who you listen to. There's a lot of people out there who have not had any success themselves, who have not had any significant client success, which is even worse, and who maybe read a book or took a course or, took a couple of webinars, and now they're putting themselves out there as a freeze-dried instant expert. And without the experience, without the track record, without the personal success, without the client success. So I'm simply saying be very, very careful who you listen to in this kind of speaker marketing arena, because a lot of people out there selling all kinds of smoke and mirrors and nonsense. So let's talk about debunking some of the smoke and mirrors and nonsense, even on this webinar right here. It's called 5 Secrets, High Fee Speaker Secrets. Are these really secrets? You know what? They're not. They're not really secrets. These are 5 specific areas where you need to start acting differently. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Teresa, I'm going to ask you about that in a second, about learning versus doing and thinking versus acting. But it's about acting differently to add 10 or 15 or 20 or 25 or $30,000 per month of speaking-driven revenue to your business. Stop scrambling and build a long-term, high-profit, fun business. So Teresa, let's talk about this for a quick second, because a lot of people, they're webinar junkies. They're webinar junkies. They love videos. They love ebooks. They love cheat sheets. They love stuff, but they're not doing a gosh darn thing to act differently in their business. What happens when we don't act differently?
Well, we just keep learning, and we keep building our library of, just like you said, templates and different things on the hard drive, and we have this sense of success that we've got all these things, and then nothing happens outside of that, and we continue to wonder why we're not moving forward. And I think, like we talked about, David, nothing happens outside of a conversation. And so in order to act differently, we have to apply these things, and we have to apply it to the right work in the right order at the right time to keep things moving forward. And it requires us to be very proactive. And oftentimes that doesn't happen, which is what causes the feast and famine and the roller coaster and the inconsistencies. So,
oh my gosh. And how?
Yeah. And, being consistent and taking no action doesn't get you further ahead.
Yeah. Consistent thinking and consistent learning is very different than consistent acting. So, man,
right.
you just dropped a thought bomb on me right here, right now, that we need to have a little audience poll right here. Because I know in the first 5 years of my business, from about 2002 to about 2007, my hard drive was smarter than me.
Oh, man.
I mean, when you say, how smart are you're acting versus all the crap that's on your hard drive, all the videos you've downloaded, all the cheat sheets, all the PDFs, all the transcripts, all the training, all the info products that you've bought. Truth-telling time, guys. Type hard drive in the question box if you feel that your hard drive is smarter than you, that you're learning and you're collecting and you're collating information has far outpaced the action that you're taking. I know if it was me, I'd be in the question box right now typing hard drive, like 5 times, because I did that for 5 years, that my hard drive was smarter than me for about 5 years in my business. And I'm wondering if anyone else here is now having a moment of self-recognition where your hard drive is smarter than you. Doing a lot of learning, but not enough acting differently based on that learning.
Oh, we've got hard drive, hard drive. Eva says hard drive times 5. She's got hard drive written out. Jeff says my hard drive has 5 PhDs.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. Well, this is it, guys. So this is why, Teresa and I talk about this all the time. We talk about this on our webinars, we talk about this with our mentoring clients, that this is not about learning. We don't want you to learn anything today. We want you to start acting differently as of today. And we're going to give you 5 specific areas where you can start to act differently. And we're going to start that right here, right now. So secret number 1, or step number 1, is to stop selling your speech. I guess these are high fee secrets, so it is secret number 1. They're not really steps. I need to be clear on the title of our gosh darn webinar here. So it is a secret because it's 5 high fee speaker secrets. Stop selling your speech, guys. Stop selling your speech. What in the world does that mean? 5 new rules that you have to embrace with this one secret. Number 1, think beyond the keynote. What are you doing for upselling, cross-selling, adding value after you step off the stage? You don't want to be asked back. You want to be asked what's next. What's next? How else can we take Jill home? How else can we use Mike? How else can we get Susan in here to help us move the needle on these results that she talked about? Because professional speaker is a skill set. It's not a job description. Training is the number 1 mode of speaking-driven delivery. There is way more training happening all across America, all across the world, right here, right now, as we're talking, than there are keynote speeches, than there are breakout sessions, than there are main stage conference sessions. There are hundreds of thousands of training events happening around the world right now as we speak. I'm leading one of them, and many of you are not. So this counts, by the way. A webinar counts as a training event. So think about that. And then let's talk about this golden triangle business model that I keep coming back to. And if you've been on a previous webinar, then you're familiar with this. I want to just touch on this again because it is so vitally important for your revenue generation. The golden triangle has 3 legs. It is speaking, followed by training, followed by consulting and coaching. The only thing speaking is ever going to do is raise awareness. Once you've exposed someone to a speaking event that you're going to do, whether that's corporate or association, conference, main stage, breakout, doesn't matter. If they want more, if they want to invite you back, then they have to invest in a training solution because training is where skills transfer happens. Once you've transferred the skills and the competencies and the capabilities, and you really want to change the culture, you want to change the direction of that team or that business unit or that whole company, then you need the 3rd leg of the golden triangle, which is having coaching and consulting solutions in your toolkit. And that's where behavior change happens. That is the sustained big effort over a period of time where you're actually changing the direction of that big giant aircraft carrier, right? The captain's on the bridge, you turn the pilot wheel on the aircraft carrier, these big nuclear engines kick in, the rudders start to turn, and lo and behold, that big giant aircraft carrier eventually makes that 90-degree right-hand side turn and changes course and trajectory quite dramatically. Now, if you do this the right way, because of the upselling, cross-selling, and adding value at every step, and this is where you need to shift your mindset. Am I upselling? Am I cross-selling? Am I inviting them to engage in the next step of value in every sales conversation? You can keep going around this golden triangle, meaning that speaking leads to training, training leads to consulting and coaching leads to more speaking in other parts of the company, other divisions, other regions, other geographies. One brand manager refers you to another brand manager. You knocked it out of the park in the Eastern Division. You want to knock it out of the park in the Western Division, whatever that may be. This method of speaking, training, consulting, and coaching, and having 1 or 2 profit centers on each leg of the golden triangle means that you do not need a lot of prospects to add a couple $100,000 to your annual revenue. This is a high volume, high relationship, right? Low number of clients. Each client is going to be worth $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. We're not on the gig to gig hamster wheel. We're not selling gigs anymore. When you implement this, we're solving problems. And we're solving problems at 3 levels. We're solving problems at the awareness level, very valuable, but it doesn't really move the needle on results. We're solving problems on the skills level, capabilities and competencies, more valuable when you move into the training leg. And then we're doing long-term behavior change, where we are shifting a culture, we're shifting practices and principles. We are having a long-term sustained impact on a team, on a department, on a company, on an entire business unit with your coaching and consulting. If I said, okay, you know what, your client value goes from $5,000 to $50,000, the number of clients that you need would go down from 60 or 70 to maybe 5 or 6. I think a lot of people here would be pretty happy with $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 of annual revenue, especially with clients who love you and keep bringing you back over and over and over and over. So I'm curious, based on what I just shared with you, type in the question box, type the word triangle. If that business model appeals to you, where you don't want to be constantly doing, 50 first dates, but you want to be embedded with these companies and these associations and these groups so that they keep bringing you back over and over and over again. You get to know them, you get to love them, you get to help them and serve them on a much deeper level. Low volume, high relationship, high dollar business model. Do you like that? Do you see how that would fit your topic or your niche? If you do, type in triangle. If you don't, no problem. I want you to be brutally honest here. But if you think shifting to this triangle business model would help you make a lot more money, type in the word triangle, and let's see how many people are on board with the triangle, the golden triangle business model of integrating speaking and training and coaching and consulting.
Well, as it usually does, David, it resonates with an awful lot of people on the call today. Glenn and John, Max, Jamal. Eva says isosceles. The
Very nice. Oh my God, we got a triangle nerd.
That's right. Monica, Jerry, Amy, Judy, Gabby. I mean, the list goes on and on. We've got quite a few people. Triangle is their answer. Love the triangle, Johnny says.
Excellent. Well, and again, this is really a game changer. As soon as you get into this mode and model of thinking, you're no longer doing, hey, how do I sell the speech? Now you're saying, hey, how do I solve a problem for my clients and for my audiences? So secret number two, moving right along, use the 7 hidden buying triggers. And many, many speakers and consultants and coaches don't understand this, only because you haven't talked to enough buyers, or you haven't gotten enough buyers to talk to you and really tell you at the end of the day what they're looking for. So what buyers really want, and I have done this research and I have talked to hundreds and hundreds of, well, I'm sorry, I don't want to overblow it. Let's call it dozens, like 30 or 40 over the years. Here's what I mean by this. I'm on the phone. I'm either interviewing them, which is a whole strategy that we talk about in our mentoring program, or I'm selling myself. I'm selling myself as a speaker, whether it comes back as a yes or a no. Here's the magic phrase. Now that we're done, now that we decided kind of not to do this together, or now that we decided to do this together, can I keep you on the line for just 5 extra minutes? I'd love to ask you a handful of quick questions. What do you look for in your speakers? What topics are hot? What topics are not? What kind of speakers have been really well received by your audience in the past? I don't need names, but just what kind of speakers, what kind of characteristics and criteria do you use? What kind of speakers have been not so well received and do not really land well with your audience? So I am collecting and collating these kinds of answers all the time, whether I get hired or not. Now you might think, well, gosh, if they don't want to hire you, they're certainly not going to stay on the phone with you. Many of them will, because they kind of feel guilty when they don't hire you. And so, hey, now that it's over, now that we kind of decide to go in a different direction, can I just borrow 5 minutes of your brain power? Can I borrow 5 minutes of your bandwidth here and ask you just a small, quick handful of questions? so that maybe, that this would really be helpful to me as I'm going around talking to other meeting planners and conference producers like you. And then I ask the questions. Well, here's what I found they really, really want. It is 7 things. It is in-depth expertise. It is up-to-the-minute current content. It is immediately relevant to their audience and their industry. They want you to be easy to work with. They want interaction, and they want programs that are experiential. They do not want a one-way data dump sage from the stage. They want you to talk about your real-world experience and your war stories in the trenches. And they want you to be authentic and approachable, including showing the chinks in your armor and showing the flaws and showing the mistakes that you've made along the way. These 7 things, you can screenshot this, you can, hang out, you'll get the slides later on if you behave yourself. If you behave yourself, Teresa, right?
If technology works and they behave themselves.
Exactly. If the technology works and if you behave yourself, we might be able to send out the slides. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But these are the 7. In-depth expertise, up-to-the-minute current content, relevance, easy to work with, interaction and experiential, real-world experience with war stories, authentic and approachable. You say, well, David, Teresa, that sounds great. How do I use this information? I'm glad you asked. Here's how to use these insights right here, right now, this afternoon. Fire up a Word document. Top of the document, say top 7 reasons to hire Jill. Top 7 reasons to hire Mike. Top 7 reasons to hire Susan. Top 7 reasons to hire Wendy. You're going to write down these 7 things. Expertise. What's your expertise? Why is that important in terms of the client? How do you keep current? What's your level of currency torn from the headlines? How are you relevant to their industry, their specific problems, their specific challenges? Show some examples of you being easy to work with. Mention that your programs are always interactive and experiential. Mention that you're going to be sharing experiences and war stories from the trenches, not just theory, but actual practice. And show them your authenticity and your vulnerability. So Dave Caperton came through our program. He was an overachiever. He did 10 reasons, anywhere from 7 to 8 to 9 to 10. There's no magic number here. I would say 7 at a minimum and 10 at a maximum. But so don't go crazy with like 74 reasons to hire Teresa. I had 74 reasons to hire Teresa, and that's why she's on the team. And
Are we to 80 yet?
Well, we're probably in the low 80s. And by the way, I wrote that list, not Teresa. So just so y'all know, I wrote the list of why there's 80 fantastic reasons to work with my friend Teresa French. So seriously, if you want to do this for yourself, 7 reasons, 9 reasons, 10 reasons, whatever it is, this is a distinction document. High-fee speakers understand how they're different. Man, I cannot emphasize this enough. High-fee speakers, and this is the high-fee speaker secrets, right? So we're spilling the beans on all of this here for you guys. High-fee speakers understand how they're different from the buyer's perspective. Do not make this an ego document. Here's the big mistake, Teresa, right, that people make with this, is they make it an ego document or a document all about me, 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 me. This needs to be you in terms of them. What makes you the person that's going to add value in these 7 categories to their audience, their company, and their team and their attendees? So that's huge right there, huge. If you get this wrong, you'll be stuck trying to peddle your programs to people who undervalue what you do or won't hire you at all. If you get this right, you will easily connect with the right buyers using the right language to capture their attention, engage with them, and these are the folks that will gladly pay premium fees for your value. So, quick client success story from Lisa Hain, who came through our mentoring program and got this articulation and distinction piece dialed in and really embraced her role as problem solver with the golden triangle and all these other things we've been talking about. Within my first 2 weeks, I used her material to close a speaking engagement for $5,000. And she was having trouble getting like, $2-3 grand, generally speaking. I used her exact coaching and tools to sway the client to choose me when their board voted on a keynote speaker. I now know how to do this with every prospect going forward. Imagine, and I want you to type this in the question box, How would it feel for you if this whole articulation and distinction conversation were easy? And if you had the right words, client-centric words, that spoke to your value, that spoke to your distinction, that spoke to how you're better, faster, cooler, smarter than hiring anybody else, how would that feel? Just type in a quick emotion word. Would that be happiness? Would that be relief? Would that be, I like the word rich. Rich is a good answer. I would feel rich if I had this one ability to know how to sway the client to pick you, where you're getting a lot more yes than no, right, than you used to, right? It used to be like 10% closing ratio. You can close 1 out of 10. Imagine if you could close 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10. Imagine if you doubled or tripled your closing ratio when you're in a beauty contest, when you're just doing out of the box prospecting, out of the gate prospecting. What's the emotion word that you would feel if you were like Lisa and she says, I now know how to do this with every prospect going forward? If you had that skill, like Lisa has that skill, how would that make you feel? Teresa, what are some emotion words that people are typing in?
Feel great! Exclamation point. Glenn says. James says, wow. Eva says, relief and confidence. Johnny, successful. Thrilled to be living my purpose, Jill says. Judy says, relieved. Rob says, enthusiastic. You know, one of the words that come to my mind, David, is in control. I
Yeah,
don't think that's an emotion word, but that's the outcome I think about when, if I could turn on the phone or the outreach and know that I'm going to close 2 or 3 out of 10, that's control over my success and my business.
it's control over your activity and it's control over your results, which is what Lisa
Yes,
now has.
absolutely. I
So,
would feel powerful, Doris says.
oh, for sure. Well, I agree with all of those words that I'm seeing fly by there. So secret number 3 is replace stupid marketing tricks with MMA. And MMA is one of our favorite phrases and acronyms that all of our mentoring clients get to know and love. It's not mixed martial arts. So you can put away your judo, put away your, kickboxing. It's money-making activity. MMA is money-making activity. Like Teresa said a few minutes ago, nothing good happens outside of a sales conversation. So what can you do to have more sales conversations? And let's talk about what does not create sales conversations. This right here is what does not create sales conversations. This is social media monkey work, content marketing busy work, blogging your brains out. Here's what it looks and feels like. All these have-tos, all these shoulda, woulda, coulda. Well, everyone else is doing it, so I have to jump off a cliff too. What does that mean? You got to blog your brains out. You got to tweet, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, networking, trade shows, media, public relations. Oh, referrals for sure. Send out 5,000 postcards, do a whole bunch of stupid cold calling, do a whole bunch of free speaking, speak for free everywhere, anywhere, as much as you possibly can. Do webinars, make sure YouTube channel is dialed in, write a whole bunch of articles. You have to write a book before any of this makes any sense. Oh my gosh, you don't have a podcast? Podcasting is the next big thing. What's wrong with you? Get a podcast. Do interviews. Make sure your search engine optimization is working. Do your mobile text messaging. Email list. Your email list isn't growing. What the heck is wrong with you? You got to get on radio. You get on TV. Create infographics. You got to write a ton of ebooks. What's wrong with you? Facebook ads, video series, exhausting launches, live streaming, online groups. Just
Oh,
shoot me.
I'm worn out just reading and listening to that.
How can this possibly be the advice that 90% of our colleagues are out there giving? I mean, this is like blind leading the blind. This is one exhausted speaker saying to another exhausted speaker, well, here's all the crap I'm doing and you should do it too, so you can be exhausted and broke right along with me. No, my friends, no, 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 no. This is exhausting marketing monkey work. Here's the smart way. Choose 1 or 2 proven marketing tactics that you find easy, effortless, and enjoyable. Let me highlight those 3 words. Easy, effortless, and enjoyable to you personally. Because that way you're going to play only to your strengths. You're going to commit to 1 or 2 main dishes on the marketing menu, not 10. When you go to a buffet, imagine having 10 appetizers, 10 main courses, and 10 desserts. And then you wonder why your belly hurts and why you're like, oh, I shouldn't have walked into this restaurant. Well, of course not, right? Choose one or two main dishes, and then here's the three most important words on this whole webinar probably. Drop everything else. Stop doing the crazy. We talked about this a few minutes ago, right? Here's how to stop the crazy and start the money. Stop the crazy, drop everything else other than those handful of proven marketing tactics that you actually enjoy, meaning that you want to get up out of bed every single day, rain or shine, happy or sad, feel like it or not, sit down at your desk, and you know your marching orders. You know what you have to do. There is clarity, there is definition, there is focus, there is direction to your marketing and sales activity so that you know who to call, you know who to connect with, you know who to get referred by, you know who to get introduced to, you know how to use your high leverage strategies, and you know what to say and send at every step that will get you closer to a check and that will start bringing in checks in the door consistently, going back to the magic C word that Teresa and I mentioned earlier. If you don't like marketing, you don't like sales, you don't like the words business development, great. Scratch them out of your vocabulary. Four magic words to replace them with. Offer value, invite engagement. It's that simple, guys. Offer value, invite engagement. This is not about being pushy, salesy, needy, and desperate. It's not about doing 100 cold calls, blind calls, stupid calls a day. This is about you showing up on their radar like a partner and not a peddler. Because here's the danger. Get this wrong, and you're going to keep doing marketing that you find exhausting, depressing, and ineffective. If you do it right, you will start to build relationships. Look at that word. Whew! Relationships. Gain prospects' trust. Oh, that sounds painful. No, it sounds fun. It sounds like high integrity marketing. And you will have more and better sales conversations that are much more likely to end up in a yes. So I made a little acronym here for you guys, EDI, for exhausting, depressing, and ineffective. Brutal honesty time, guys. If you find your marketing and sales tasks right now exhausting, depressing, and ineffective, please type EDI in the question box. A few people might love the marketing that they're doing, but man, Teresa and I see an awful lot of EDI. Exhausting, depressing, ineffective. If that's how you look at your marketing, something needs to change. Maybe we need to talk. But type in EDI. I'm curious how prevalent this might be with our group of smart cookies on the webinar here today. Do we have some people that find their marketing and sales tasks exhausting and depressing and ineffective?
Yes. Tracy, Jill, Edith, James, Max says EDI. Glenn, Peggy says EDI to the nth degree. Todd says EDI. Johnny says EDI. I'm not even sure what number that is. A lot. Corinne
EDI,
says
big
EDI.
numbers. Big numbers, big numbers. Okay, good. Well, and again, it's not good. Let me rephrase that. It's good that you recognize that something needs to change. Let me just underline that phrase. It's good that you recognize that something needs to change. Because here's the deal. When you find your marketing and sales activities exhausting, depressing, and ineffective, Teresa, how attracted are we as human beings to doing things that are exhausting, depressing, and ineffective?
We are not attracted to that.
We
We
are
avoid that.
not
We
super
run.
motivated. Yeah, not super motivated to engage in those activities. So no
No.
marketing and sales activities because they're EDI, guess what? Lower, in some cases, no marketing and sales results, which is bad, and which is maybe why some of you guys are on this masterclass today, is exactly to fix that problem. So let's keep fixing it for you. Here's what happened with our client, Tony Lucero, by the way. Speaking of shifting the marketing to conversations that are easy, effortless, and enjoyable. So long story short, I picked up 2 coaching clients totaling $32,400, and I'm on retainer for 90 days at $10,000 per month with the company. Not bad. The reason I'm telling you this is not to boast, as many of you are better than I am. However, I was doing the activity that David outlines and focusing on what I wanted to attract to my business that allowed the doors to be open. Stay the course, do the work, and know your target market, right? You can't have high trust, high relationship conversations with a market that you do not know. And you got to know them in some cases better than they know themselves. And that's why Tony was able to unlock $62,400 of new business in a matter of weeks after enrolling in our mentorship program. Is he became a student of the game. He dialed back his marketing activities to be easy, effortless, enjoyable. He only connected with people that he wanted to have that high trust, high relationship conversation with. And these conversations led to this kind of result so fast it made even Tony's head spin. So Tony at the bottom here very generously says, your program, David, made this possible. Okay, you know what? Tony's work and commitment made this possible. None of this happened by itself. This happened when Tony implemented the advice, right? When Tony didn't let his hard drive be smarter than Tony. Tony didn't just say, oh, hey, David, you had great coaching, great mentoring, great idea, great advice, sounds good, sounds smart. Doesn't sound good, doesn't sound smart. He did good, he did smart, he implemented, he had these conversations, and he booked this business. So I just love bragging on our clients who implement, and do less marketing, guys, to get better results. Tony was exhausting himself with all this crazy EDI monkey work. And we said, okay, well, stop doing that and start doing high trust, high relationship conversations. Invite people to a conversation on how you can help them. Okay, great. So opened up a conversation. He says, in 24 hours, I was on a jet to Salt Lake City to meet these business owners because I opened up a conversation on how I can help them. Boom, boom, boom. That's where the results come from. That's where the results come from. All right, so let's look at where we are right now. We know we need to stop selling speeches. We need to use the 7 hidden buying triggers. We talked about that. And we just finished talking about replace stupid marketing tricks with money-making activity. Now let's look how to get super focused, zero in on the exact buyers that you want, and how to set and get premium fees. Secret number 4. No forest, all trees. Here's what I mean by that. Forests don't buy. Trees buy. So when you say, I want to work in the construction industry, that's a forest. I want to work in the high-tech industry, that's a forest. Forests don't have credit cards. Forests don't have meetings. Forests can't really hire you. The high-tech industry can't hire you. The construction industry can't hire you. Individual decision makers that work inside of the companies in those industries, those are the trees, and trees have budget, and trees have employees, and trees have problems, and trees have meetings. So the trees do the buying. So what you have to do is make good big decisions, focus on connecting with the right people, not industries, not these generic buckets, but actual human beings. Connect with them in the right way for the right reason to help them. And here's 3 super specific steps right here, right now that will help you with this. First step, decide. Decide the answer to 2 key questions in your business right now if you want to. Number 1, who do you serve? And number 2, for those people, what problems do you solve? The answers to these 2 questions are going to help you hone in and laser focus everything you do, everything you say, and everything you sell. Absolutely. I'm just going to leave that slide up there for another minute so you guys can really absorb that. 2 questions. Who do you serve? For those people, what problems do you solve? You nail this, and the clarity just appears. All of a sudden, all kinds of trees start to emerge out of the fog of the forest, and now you're having conversations, now you're connecting with people, because here's what this enables you to do. Step 2 is target. Okay, if those are the folks I serve, and these are the problems I solve, how do I start connecting with buyers? How do I start connecting with actual people that have names and faces and email addresses and credit cards and checking accounts and other ways they can pay me? Simple. Develop a finite, written, workable list of high probability prospects. These are specific corporations, associations, groups, and specific people that work there. And again, like with Tony Lucero's success story, you need to know your target market better than they know themselves. So then you're going to research these companies, research these industries, research these specific people, and show up on their radar with high relevance, high value, high respect conversations about how you can help them. And that's going to make all the difference. This makes it 100 times better than cold calling. This makes it 100 times better than wallpapering the world with postcards. This makes it 100 times more effective than batch and blast email campaigns or LinkedIn campaigns to strangers, to spam strangers. You do not want to do that. You absolutely do not want to do that. That is the opposite of targeting. That is batch and blast, shotgun, hoping and wishing and praying. So no more hoping, no more wishing, no more praying. Let's talk about the connect step. Step number 3. Powerful, proactive, peer-to-peer outreach as an authority, right? Not peddling a speech, but looking to solve a problem. Specifically, looking to invite them to a conversation on how you can help them. So this is done with strategic introductions. This is done via targeted, proactive referrals. This is done by doing a listening campaign in the blogs, portals, communities, and groups where they're already gathering and they're already talking about the problems that you're brilliant at solving. This comes from the interview strategy that we recommend for our mentoring clients, where you actually do a deep dive diagnostic interview of what these folks want, what they're wrestling with, what are their problems, pains, heartaches, headaches, challenges, and gaps, what are their goals, dreams, wishes, and aspirations of where they'd like to go. Personally, professionally, financially, with their department, with their people, with their conference, with their association, with their industry, with all of it. And here's the mantra when you're doing your connection campaign. Fish where the fish are. My buddy Corey Perlman always talks about this when it comes to social media marketing. Teresa and I talk about it when it comes to selling and sales outreach and how to have these connection conversations. Fish where the fish are, and you will never go hungry again. If you have the right bait on the right kind of hook, and you're in the right kind of boat, and you're fishing on the right kind of lake, it is very, very different than being out in the open ocean with the wrong fish, the wrong rod, the wrong kind of boat. You're being tossed and turned and thrown all over the place. You're about to, toss your cookies overboard. Terrible. You want to be in the right lake with the right bait, the right boat, the right fish in the water. You will catch fish. Out in the open ocean, man, you're making this way harder than it needs to be. And Teresa, you're there in Minnesota, land of 10,000 lakes. You should be the fishing expert here.
I do fish well, and we have plenty of lakes, but not all of them are my lakes, because I've decided what lakes and what kind of fish I want to go after. Walleyes and bass, 2 different lakes if I want 2 different kinds of fish. So I got to know where to go. And yes, right bait, right boat, and good conditions.
Oh my gosh, I love this. So I think that's our next Facebook Live, is you and I should do like a fishing analogy Facebook Live.
Perfect. Bring it on. I'll bring my big mounted
live video near you. Coming to a Facebook Live video near you. So you get this wrong, and you're going to keep doing the spray and pray marketing monkey work that's all over the map and rarely generates good clients or good fees. We don't want that for you. We don't want that for you. Get this right, and you'll intentionally befriend. Look at that word, befriend. Intentionally befriend the exact decision makers who will gladly hire a helpful authority, but not a pitcher or a peddler or a vendor, but you're positioning yourself as a helpful authority, and these are the same clients that will repeat and refer and recommend. You don't need 100 clients like this. We've got folks making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and they've got 10 or 12 relationships like this that keep using them, keep bringing them back, keep upselling, keep cross-selling, keep deepening the relationship, keep extending the value. That's the kind of dream business that most speaking-driven professionals would want. So Susan Robertson was a very successful consultant, had never really been paid any significant amount of money to speak, came into our mentoring program, Boom, landed a $7,500 gig within the first few weeks. Then it got even better because a couple weeks after that, she said, I just landed a speaking gig I feel sure I never would have gotten if I weren't in your program. It's chock full of prime prospects for me. I would have gladly done it for free. Instead, I'm getting $3,500 plus full-length HD video, plus personal introductions to people that I target from their list, plus video testimonials. That's a huge win for me for something I would have normally done for free and probably wouldn't have even thought to try and get regardless. And then my response, you can see in the lower right, totally fantastic. Huge congrats from me and Teresa. I just handed her the phone to show her your message. So we not only want to make sure that you're successful, we are deeply committed to your success. Unlike a lot of folks that are happy to take your check and run your credit card and say, great, welcome, thanks for the money. That's the beginning of our relationship, and we push people over the finish line like we pushed Susan. So from zero to $11,000 in 6 weeks, and she has only been up and bigger and higher from there. So secret number 5, by the way, that we're talking about fees now, stop charging like an amateur. Real world market rate fees, and here's the stone cold truth, my friends. There's only 2 reasons why you're not earning what you deserve as a speaking-driven professional right now. Either you think your expertise isn't worth it, or you think it is worth it, but you believe that if you charge more, no one will hire you. So you have to know the 5 levels of fee. This was an article in Smart Meetings magazine. I quote this statistic quite regularly because it helps you reset. It helps you reset your pricing barometer. Smart Meetings magazine goes out to meeting planners, conference producers, association executives who hire paid professional speakers. This is their language from this article in Smart Meetings magazine. Unpaid speakers, mediocre, just starting out. Second level, $1,000 to $2,500, you get what you pay for. Ooh, ouch, painful.
Ouch.
$2,500 to $5,000, transition from part-time. Look at that language. Transition from part-time. Still a dabbler, still an amateur, just getting their feet wet. Transition from part-time. Another ouch. For $5,000 to $10,000, now you know you're hiring a true professional. Their words, not mine. Their words, not mine. And then $10,000 and up, which again, there's no real upper limit here. New York Times bestseller, marquee name, some big deal celebrity. Here's where you need to be perceived as a true professional. $5,000 to $10,000. For some of you guys, depending on your expertise and experience, maybe you're in the 10,000 plus category. That's great. We can talk about that with you. But at least this is your minimum wage as a speaker. If you're charging less than this, you are letting your lowball pricing undermine the perception of your expertise. And that is the opposite of what a high fee speaker does. A high fee speaker charges market rates and up. But the minimum wage for a high fee speaker is the market rate. It is not below market rate. It is not discount basement. It is not, we're not playing the how low can you go limbo game with your fee. You've got firm, clear boundaries that you're not putting pants on for less than X number. And that X number needs to be about $5,000, needs to be the floor. If your fee is higher than that, God bless you, great. $7,500, $8,500. We've worked with people in our mentoring program who are making $18,000 per keynote and getting it 2-3 times a month. And they're just wanting to do more and better. And they want to do a fee elevation and escalation strategy, or they're pivoting into a new topic or a new program, or they have a new book coming out. So this is all relative to where you are. We've worked with folks that have never really made any money, like Susan Robertson that you just saw, who made $11,000 in her first 6 weeks in the program, all the way to members of the National Speakers Association Speaker Hall of Fame, and the $18,000, $20,000 speakers who were just a little bit stagnant with their own elevation and escalation strategy. So this is not about the money that you need to earn. It's about the money they need to pay to take you seriously. So here's some more quick tips. This is not going to take you months and months and years to figure this out. You can turn this around in a few weeks. You can turn this around starting right now. No more small potatoes thinking and small potatoes doing. You got to stop treating this like an expensive hobby. Because doing okay, even if you're doing okay, you're making 80,000, 100,000, 125,000 a year, maybe you're making 175,000. I consider that doing okay. Doing okay was not your initial dream, right? So here's the question. How much should you be earning as a speaking-driven professional? Our answer here at Do It Marketing, what Teresa and I coach our clients on every single day, is if we need to get you as fast as possible to doctor money. And we call that $186,600 per year because that's, according to payscale.com, that is the average salary of a general practice physician in the United States. Now, doctor money is more within reach than you think. It's just basic math, my friends. We do this all the time. It's called price times quantity equals total. Let's say that your goal is 2 speeches a month at $4,500. That's $9,000 a month just with the speaking. 9,000 times 12 is $108K. Then we're going to add a training day. 12 training days, right? 12 monthly training days times 4,500 is 54,000. Let's say you have a coaching program as well, right? We're operationalizing your golden triangle right here. One coaching client's worth $6,000. You do that once a month, 12 months a year, 72. Let's add that up. There you are. You're at doctor money, 234,000. Now, the beauty of this is not the money. The beauty of this is you can now add more to this. You can increase it. You can decrease it. You can flex it around. But the magic is now you know where you're going. Now you have realistic, reachable financial goals. Let's say you don't do any training. I highlighted the training line in green. Let's say it's 2 speeches at 9,000, 108,000, and you got the coaching thing going, and you decide, I'm not going to do training. For whatever reason, I don't like training. I'll take the 108,000 from the speaking. I'll take the 72,000 from the coaching, and my revenue model is now 180. So you're almost at that doctor money, right? Doctor money being 186,600. But here's the deal. You can now adjust the math, and you know where you're going, and you finally know what financial success looks like. If you never map this out in a super simple back of the envelope way like this, of course you're not going to make this kind of money. No one makes this kind of money at random. It's always part of a path and a plan to accelerate your success. So if this seems 100% real for you, the way that I just mapped it out, if the planning and the doing seems connected logically, the way that I just described, please type in the word possible in the question box. I'd love to see if this is landing with people as, oh my gosh, I can just do some simple math, set some simple financial targets, and then making this kind of money is absolutely possible for you. Type in the word possible, probable, heck yes, OMG, finally. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Possible, 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 possible.
I love it. Actionable, Scott says.
Yeah, I love that one too, for sure.
Doris says very possible. James says very possible with a ton of exclamation points behind it.
Yeah.
Possible, very possible, David, Ed says. Johnny's getting his eyes open. Vanessa says possible. Michael says definitable.
Definitable. I love that.
Corrine says possible. Hope says possible. Judy, possible. They're seeing it. They're seeing the vision, David. Finally, Dr. Money is within reach.
Love it. All right. So here's the deal, my friends. Get this wrong, and you will continue undercharging and under-earning, whatever that means for you. Some people are making $10,000 per speech, and for them, that is undercharging. And for them, that is under-earning. So please remember, undercharging and under-earning are relative terms. It's relative to where you need to be, relative to where you want to be. Undercharging and under-earning and the premium clients and prospects that you want will never find you because you're marketing at the wrong level, at the wrong stratosphere, right? If you're a $15,000 speaker, right, or you want to be a $15,000 speaker, but all you hang out with is $5,000 clients, of course this is harder than it needs to be because you haven't used your elevation and escalation strategies to connect with and intentionally befriend those $15,000 clients and prospects that are absolutely out there for you. So you get this right, and you're going to build a high credibility, high fee, expert-based business that clients will confidently hire, rehire, and recommend to others. Here's what we talk about on our breakthrough calls, on our strategy sessions. The question for you is, are you reassuringly expensive? Are you reassuringly expensive? Or are you underpriced, undermarketed, and undervalued so that people start scratching their heads? They go, wow, well, how good can this person be if they're coming in here at $4,000, $5,000, $6,000? The last really great speaker we brought in was a $7,500 speaker, right? The last guy we brought in for $3,000 was a train wreck. So are you reassuringly expensive? You will get more gigs if you are reassuringly expensive. And you will get fewer gigs if you underprice and outprice yourself as a cheap commodity. So here's some sales success. We're just going to go through this very, very quickly because we get this every day from our clients. Just had a gross revenue of $106,000 for the past 6 months. That's more than I've ever made anywhere in any 6-month period. Just got another gig for $12,500. Hey, how's your 30K gig coming along? Did that close? Yes, it's in 2 weeks. Because of David and Teresa, I have a system to contact qualified leads. Qualified, underline that 3 times. My sales proposition is what they're looking for, and I'm booking clients. And we love hearing stuff like this, and we hear it every day. Let's tally the nudge from Newman. 3 new clients, $20,000 in income up front, and a clear path to doing more. Because of so much I've learned from you, I broke the 6-figure mark already, and it's not even October yet. So that one came in last fall. And again, just revenue acceleration. Implementation and acceleration is the name of the game here, my friends. Proof that it's always best to get on the phone to discuss possibilities and to go into the conversation with a confident I can help you mindset, right? Invite them to a conversation on how you can help and serve. Do not pitch, do not peddle. My client call ended in a full fee booking for February 2018, and this was last December that this came in, by the way. $7,500, boom, easy, done. I love this stuff. Thanks for everything. Booked $33,000 in the past 3 weeks. Another one, I've been using the stuff in your speaker marketing workshop. Booked 2 $5,000 speeches this week. Thanks, David. And then just landed a $60,000 to $70,000 contract in less than a week of sales cycle to boot. I have a handshake and verbal agreement from the CEO, and we have the first event scheduled, just formalizing the contract and sending them the paperwork today. So this is within reach. Story after story after story after story, all of which warms the cockles of my heart. It truly, truly does. Here's the bonus secret, my friends. I know I've done this at the strategically right times in my business. Teresa has done this in the strategically right times in her business. Invest. I wish, if I could turn the clock back on my business, I simply wish I had invested in mentoring sooner. Invest in mentoring. I mean, right? Because it's crazy. People think they're a lone wolf. They can figure all this out on their own. And everyone should have a mentor. Mentoring brings new ideas and accountability and real-world advice like you've gotten today. It's your GPS, your compass, your roadmap. It will help you gain speed. It will help you shorten your path to results, avoid potholes, remove obstacles, guide your action, answer your questions. It is the straightest, shortest line to outcomes and results. And a good mentor is going to give you great ideas and make sure you act on them. A great mentor will also put together a powerful group of people, all working towards similar goals, and that's a force multiplier. In our mentoring program, there are people earning $3,000 a month, working right alongside people earning $30,000 a month and more, and everyone wins from that cross-pollination. So what you need to win. We talked about stop selling your speech. We talked about the 7 hidden buying triggers. We talked about replace stupid marketing tricks with money-making activity. We warned you about no forest, all trees and how to connect with the economic buyers and the trees in your marketplace. Stop charging like an amateur. And then the bonus tip is invest in mentoring sooner. So at this point, you have a choice. You can keep going the old way with old results, underbooked, underpaid. Remember, that's a relative term. You might be making $12,000 a gig and you're still underbooked and you're still underpaid. Keep spinning your wheels. not reaching that next level of income, whatever that looks like for you, just can't figure out the password to the secret club where the bouncers are keeping you out, of experts who are making great money consistently. And I'll tell you, my friends, I've done this solo or early on with no guidance and no accountability and no support. And I will tell you from firsthand experience, that is a hard and lonely road. Or we can book a call, we can have a strategy session together, and that can all end today. So our team can get on the phone, we can diagnose what's really going on, we can find the strategic gaps in your specific business. We're going to help you refocus and reframe and reboot what you're doing and take a good long look at what needs to be fixed with your messaging, with your packaging, with your positioning, your pricing, marketing, sales. Fill in everything we talked about today. Fill in what's missing for you to consistently get clients you love and finally earn what you deserve. And the URL to book that call is doitmarketing.com/apply. doitmarketing.com/apply. And I think Teresa just popped that in the chat window, so that's a clickable link. What you'll do is you'll pick a time on the calendar. A prep form is going to come up. A questionnaire is going to come up. We're going to do a quick Q&A here. So we're happy to sit here and answer all of your questions about today's teaching, all of the questions that you might have about applying everything that we talked about. Keep that prep form tab open, and then when we're done, fill out the rest of that prep form, submit your questionnaire, and then we'll be ready to hit the ground running during your consultation call. So here's how we can help. Like I just mentioned a second ago, our team and I set aside some time to speak to you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your business starting today. The cost of these sessions, because we get this question a lot, the cost of these sessions is free. So it's doitmarketing.com/apply. And what's going to happen is my mouse is going to freeze. What's going to happen? There we go. The only catch, rather, is that it's not for everybody. So I'll tell you who this is for and who this is not for, because there are certain kinds of people that we're probably not in a great position to help. So this is not for you if building a high-fee speaking-driven business is not your number one priority for the next 3 to 6 months. If you don't know what you want to be when you grow up, this is absolutely not for dabblers or hobbyists. If you refuse to follow a proven process and you don't want to take action on instructions, we are not going to fight you. We're not going to want this more than you do. You need to also be willing to let go of your low-fee mindset and low-fee business model, meaning you have to be coachable. It's also not for you if you're down to your last few dollars and you need to pay the rent this month, specifically because we do not believe in this get-rich-quick hype and nonsense. This is get-rich-smart and get-rich-permanently. It is not get-rich-quick. So if that's you, you probably don't want to necessarily book a call. However, this is for you if you are serious, decisive, and committed to making your business profitable over the next 60 days. It is for you whether you've just started speaking or you're a seasoned pro. I've given you examples and case studies from both ends of that spectrum. Whether you've got your niche and message nailed down or not, whether you're in this full-time or planning your corporate escape. We've got some folks working day jobs that are just crushing it in this program because they're building their well before they're thirsty. You're willing to follow a proven process. You're not going to fight. You're not going to argue. You're not going to drop the ball. So we can help you ramp up revenue, and you're the kind of person who takes mentorship and direction well, and you want to put an additional $10,000 to $20,000 in your pocket over the next 60 to 90 days, and more important, build a predictable flow of clients and cash. If that's you, I want you to pop over to the appointment setting page, doitmarketing.com/apply. And I'll tell you very upfront why we're doing this. On the call, we're going to work with you to craft a step-by-step game plan to hit your income goals for the next 12 months and attract the exact clients that you want to work with. And again, the cost of these strategy sessions is absolutely free. We know that you might want our help to transform your business. If that's the case, we can discuss that and see if it's a good fit in both directions. If not, that is 100% okay too. Either way, this will be the most valuable 45 minutes that you invest to grow your speaking-driven business and help you get real results. So the place to apply for that call is, again, doitmarketing.com/apply. And now we're going to go into our Q&A. I know we had some questions kind of pop in earlier, so we weren't really taking questions before. If you typed a question earlier, please retype it. But right now, if you have not yet typed a question in, what can we help you with? What questions can we answer about anything from today's teaching, any of the strategies, any of the tactics, any of the ideas? What questions do you have about applying these ideas to your own speaking-driven business or coaching or consulting or training or mentoring, whatever it is that you do? And, go ahead and book that time. Just lock in that calendar time at doitmarketing.com/apply, and then just flip back here and we'll be happy to answer your questions. So type your question into the question box. Teresa's going to kind of cue those and prioritize those. And let's see who's got the first question.
So JD, way earlier, when you were talking about different kinds of tactics, you had mentioned about a listening campaign. He'd like to know, what is a listening campaign? Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, totally. Well, listening campaign is really, really important to your success. This can be done over the course of a few hours, maybe a day or two at the most. It's not a big, major, months-long project. It's about you putting your finger on the pulse of your industry and how your industry specifically is looking at the problem that you solve. So whether that's leadership, team building, customer service, presentation skills, personal finance, wellness, health, career, whatever it is. Finding the online blogs, portals, communities, groups, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, message boards, where your people are discussing your topic. And then putting your finger on the pulse there, engaging in those conversations, answering questions, listening for the responses, figuring out what problems have traction, what problems are superfluous and not really getting a lot of comments or traction or questions, and then fine-tuning your marketing language based on what you hear and see happening in those groups. So it's a pattern recognition exercise of what's hot and what's not, what's urgent and what's nice to have, right? A lot of times, a lot of speakers, especially folks that we work with, they come into the program and they almost have it right. But unfortunately, they don't quite have it dialed in. So now they're seen by their target market as a nice to have. And they're not seen as a have to have. They're seen as a side dish. They're not seen as the main course. They're seen as kind of, hey, if we have some extra budget, maybe we'll bring you in. And they're not seen as a burning platform, problem solver, knight coming in on a white horse to save the day. This is really the difference, and Teresa and I talk about this with our clients all the time. It's the difference between vitamin and aspirin. Aspirin is going to get booked in good times or bad. Vitamin, that's kind of optional. That's like buying life insurance. Maybe I will, maybe I don't. Maybe I can just kind of put my head in the sand. Maybe I can be in denial. It's not that important. I mean, if I have some extra money, sure, we'll do a training session. If I have some extra money, yeah, we'll bring you in to speak. But it's not a burning platform issue. When you do a listening campaign the right way, you will immediately stop wasting your time on nice-to-have messaging, and you will start to shift. And often it's a small shift, 5%, 10%, 15%, and you will become the urgent, pervasive problem solver that they've always been looking for. And you will immediately jump the line from the nice-to-have category to the have-to-have category. That's going to support your messaging. That's going to support your packaging. That's going to support your premium pricing. That's going to get you out of the stalled deals. That's going to get you out of no one's returning my calls. That's going to get you out of no one's replying to my emails. And it's going to move you forward much more rapidly towards getting that consistent revenue in the door. And if you want to work out how that might look specifically in your world, I would book a call. I would hop on that link, doitmarketing.com/apply. And let's dig into that and get you the exact crystal clarity on what that would look like for you.
Fantastic. So Dr. Leaf has a question. If you're at 5,000 to 7,000 for speaking at that level, is there a ballpark for the price point on training and consulting?
So training is pretty much the same fee schedule as speaking. I don't really draw a big distinction between training and speaking. Basically, it's a day of your life. It's a day of your value creation, whether that's in a speaking mode or in a training mode. Consulting really runs the gamut. We've got folks that are doing consulting at, $20,000 a month. We've got folks that are doing consulting on a revenue share or a results basis. We've got folks that are doing consulting at, $5,000, $10,000 a month. I mean, you saw Tony Lucero, for example. He booked some coaching work and some month-to-month consulting work at $10,000 a month, initially signing on for a 90-day contract, so it's a 90-day commitment. But he could keep that going all year long and have a $120,000 consulting client that year. So that one varies.
Got it. And Denise has two questions kind of related to one another. Number one, when we were talking about the interview strategy, she says, how do you get them to be interviewed about their weaknesses? And a follow-up question to that is, what are some examples of where to find these conversations with C-level executives?
So you get them talking about their weaknesses by first talking about their strengths and their accomplishments, right? And then you can start to pivot into, just like any interview, I mean, you have to take off your marketing hat and put on your investigative journalist hat. And the questions are, what does your next level of success look like in this area? If you could wave a magic wand, what problems would instantly go away that you have right now when it comes to this area of, problem, challenge, issue, etc. So it's very subtle. They love talking about their successes, and they also love talking about their goals. So uncovering that gap between the current success and the next goal, that's where the money's to be made. And doing that artfully and doing that with consistency during the interview, so it doesn't just in halfway through become like this weird sales call. It needs to be consistent and smooth throughout. And our clients, we teach that, and there's a whole methodology behind that, but that's the short answer.
Fantastic. And that,
was there a second
half? How many other questions?
There was a second half to that question right there that I forgot to answer.
Yep. Can you give an example of where to find some of these conversations for C-level executives?
Oh, well, so you don't find the conversation, you create the conversation. So as far as the interview strategy, I'm guessing is what your question is about. So you don't interview by kind of just looking around. You actually get on their calendar and you book a 20-minute time slot specifically to interview them for the purpose of writing up a success profile or an article, which you will get published, by the way. And then you have a kind of a free publishing strategy as a nice side benefit of this. But the real main part of the interview strategy is to do what we talked about in the webinar today, which is to intentionally befriend your next set of prospects and to have them look at you as a trusted advisor and not as a vendor or a peddler or a pitch person. So you create those conversations, you invite people to those conversations, you do not find them.
Got it. That, you know what, David, that's it. That's all the questions that we have. That's from earlier. No one's submitted any in the last 3 or 4 minutes. So if you've got a question, we're here to help you sort through whatever you need today. We'll stay a few more minutes. But if there are no more questions, I think we can wrap it up, David.
I think people are busy going out to doitmarketing.com/apply and booking their one-on-one speaker strategy session. Because
that
again,
would be a great.
You know what?
Move.
Here's the deal. I'm just going to rant while the final couple of questions come in. You're getting a free rant today. If you don't book your call, if we don't go into application mode for you and your speaking business, this is just another case of your hard drive being smarter than you. Oh, that was a great webinar. Oh, I'm really glad I got the slides. Oh, this was great. Yeah. And then you slide back into the swamp. Just slide back into what you were doing last week, last month, last quarter, maybe last year. So the reason that we're booking these calls is information into action. information into action. Teresa and I are frankly, we are sick and tired of people being on an information diet while their business is starving. So information is great. Inspiration is great. I hope you got a lot of good information today. I hope you got some good inspiration today. I hope you even got some good recommendation today. But the spectrum goes information, inspiration, recommendation, action, and outcomes. When you want to take that next action step, whether we invite you to work with us or not, no matter where that call goes, we are going to be of good service to you to get into action one way or the other. So will this be yet another webinar and another learning event and another lack of doing? Is your hard drive going to be smarter than you again? Is your hard drive going to be just collecting all this great information, but you didn't move the needle on your results because you didn't go to doitmarketing.com/apply. You didn't book a call. You didn't talk to our team. You didn't get clarity. You didn't get a plan. You didn't get a revenue plan for the price times quantity equals total that we just walked everybody through, right? You don't know where to prospect. You don't know where to get leads. You don't know who's got this kind of budget that we talked about. But man, is your hard drive getting smart. Man, is your hard drive knows what to do, but you don't. I don't want that to happen to you again. So that's why I'm just passionately encouraging you. Let's have a conversation. Let's figure out where you are. Let's figure out what we need to fix and tune and tweak and adjust and upgrade. Let's see if we can help you finally get these outcomes and results so that your next 3 months are very different than your last 3 months, and that your next 12 months are very different than your last 12 months, and that this year is very different than last year, and you figured out the code, you've got your way into the secret club because you raised your hand and you said, I'm an action taker, I'm not going to let my hard drive be smarter than me, I'm ready, I'm going to take some action, I'm going to have a conversation. Nothing good, just like we talked about the sales conversations that you're having in the marketplace, right? Nothing good happens in a sales mode outside of the sales conversation, and nothing good happens in a mentoring mode outside of a mentoring conversation. So when you go to doitmarketing.com apply, it's confidential. A lot of people say, well, is this confidential? Like, are you gonna, will this be the source of your next Facebook rant? Will you put me in a webinar? And no, of course we don't do that with our friends and clients and prospect. What we do is we look at where you are, cold hard look in the bright shiny light of day. We look at where you want to go, cold hard look in the bright shiny light of day, and we map out a trajectory. And we map out a path and a plan for you to get there in the shortest possible time, at the fastest possible speed, removing every possible road bump and roadblock that we can. Now, if you decide to take action on that plan, that's fantastic. If you decide not to take action on that plan, at least you've got the plan. At least you've got the clarity. At least you've taken the action step of, okay, let me at least get some help crafting the plan. And now I know what the road ahead looks like. Now I know what I can stop doing. Now I know what I should be shifting in my marketing, my messaging.
Muted. Unmuted. Muted. Unmuted.
All right. Did you guys hear any of that last bit?
We heard it.
Okay. Because suddenly my microphone went on mute and I was like, oh no, not this again.
We heard it.
Teresa,
we do have a couple questions.
Did you mute me? Did you just put me on mute because you're just done ranting with me here today?
I didn't. Maybe I should have. Maybe that's the way to do it.
Clicking all over the place. So here's the deal. I'm glad you guys heard that and it wasn't muted for more than a couple seconds. But you absolutely want to take action. Book this call. Let's get you the clarity. Let's get you the path. Let's get you the plan. If you say, hey, I need some help implementing the plan, again, that's an option. We can talk about that. If not, at least you have the plan. So right now you have a whole bunch of great ideas and nothing's being activated, nothing's being implemented. As we speak right now, if you haven't yet popped over to doitmarketing.com/apply, then your hard drive is smarter than you. And we don't want your hard drive smarter than you. We always want you 1 or 2 steps ahead of your hard drive. So doitmarketing.com/apply. The team is ready. The team is standing by. We've got calls that are available today, tomorrow, the rest of this week. I think through Thursday we've got some time. So book the call. Book the call. The worst that can happen, I always tell people they're a little bit gun shy, a little bit, I say the worst that can happen is you make money. The worst that can happen is you make money. It's like, oh boy, I don't know. I don't know if I should talk to the team. I don't know if I should get the strategy call. I don't know if I should have the clarity and the focus and the momentum. What would you do with the clarity and the focus and the momentum? You'd probably be able to get some results. You'd probably be able to get some checks in the door. And Teresa and I, we do a happy dance anytime and every time that our clients get checks in the door, open up a new opportunity, or close a new deal, or any step in between. So pop over to doitmarketing.com/apply, book the call. Let's see how we can help you, and we'll take it from there. We'll take it from there. So while I was ranting, Teresa, any more questions come in?
We do have a couple questions. Corinne is asking, can you give me an example of how to handle a price objection? Just had a referral from a company for a university, and they offered 50% of the fee with 140 leads. And so she's wanting to know a little bit about negotiation and advocating for her fee.
So there's so that's right. That's the $64,000 question. We could spend an hour on that question, and obviously that might be something that you want to book a call at doitmarketing.com/apply. Not for that situation specifically, but for all situations like that of when you start to get this downward price pressure. I'll give you just a quick couple of nuggets now that'll help you. Number one is, are you even talking to the right prospect? Because I think a lot of times when you hit price pressure as a pattern, right, it's a pattern like, oh man, I'm always getting price pressure. I'm always getting downward price pressure. What that means is you're trying to make a Walmart shopper into a Nordstrom's customer. And you will never make a Walmart shopper into a Nordstrom's customer, right? They're different stores. They have different demographics. There's different needs. There's different merchandise. There's different everything, different advertising, different everything. So first question is this really a client that you would hire? You know, in our mentorship program, or even when you book a call at doitmarketing.com/apply, we use the lingo of hiring your next client. So if you're posting a job on the internet and the job description is my next client, would you hire this buyer to be in the job role of my next client? A lot of times people go, well, no, I wouldn't. They're too cheap, they're too small, they're too penny pinching, they don't see my value, they see me as a vendor, they see this as a necessary evil, they're not excited about the training or the speaking or the coaching. And so it's like, well, why are you even talking to them? Let's go find you a better client. Let's go find you a better prospect. What I'm not understanding is like the 140 leads at 50% off, or what that is all about. But again, you want to think about the price and value equation. So anytime someone says, hey, can you cut your price by 50%? The answer is absolutely not, right? Because there's a difference between bargaining and negotiating. Bargaining is caving on price like a cheap card table. You do not want to cave on price for no reason. And again, a lot of people that we work with have come into the program with a long history, a long and checkered history of caving on price, caving on price, caving on price, caving on price. And it's time for that pattern to stop. Now, negotiating, and this is the last little bit of wisdom I have for you, a lot of times when we say the word negotiating, everyone thinks about cutting the price and possibly lowering the value. Sometimes a negotiation goes in a better direction, even when there's a price objection, by negotiating up. Increase the price, increase the value. Sometimes they're not going to hire you for a $5,000 speech, but they will hire you for a $20,000 speech and masterclass and in residence program. Because now you've amped up the value so dramatically that they want the outcome that you're promising to deliver. So don't just think about negotiating down, The missing secret weapon, the missing card in your game plan here might very well be, how do I negotiate up? And how do I get higher fees for higher value even when they initially gave me some downward price pressure and I thought they wanted a cheaper program? They don't really want a cheaper program. They want a better program. And when they want a better program, you increase the fee to close the deal.
Awesome. And Jeff has a question. What are the top 5 or so proven marketing tactics you do recommend?
Well, and again, I wish it was a cookie cutter. I wish it was one size fits all, because you know what? Anyone who had those 5 strategies, they would be an instant multimillionaire. And Teresa would be an instant multimillionaire, and I'd be an instant multimillionaire. And who was it that asked the question? Jeff?
Jeff did, yep.
Jeff. So Jeff would be an instant multimillionaire. So here's the deal. We talked about a couple of different strategies that's going to help you specifically dial in what you need to do to reach your target market in the way that they want to be reached when they're thinking about your category of problem or solution. First one we already talked about in the training. We talked about fish where the fish are. Second thing we talked about is your listening campaign. Third thing we talked about is, what do they talk about when they talk about the problem? Because one of the marketing strategies, whatever vehicle that marketing comes in on, it needs to be speaking prospect language about prospect problems. If you're saying, hire me as a speaker, book me, I'm awesome, it doesn't matter what vehicle that comes in on, that's going to crash and burn. Speaking prospect language about prospect problems is always going to work. You can send it by carrier pigeon. You can send it by blog. You can send it by video. You can send it by handwritten postcard. It's not about the how. It's about the why and the what, right? And again, it's dialing in those 2 questions that I said are going to unlock your prospecting strategy. What people do I serve? And for those people, what problem do I solve? And do I have the articulation and the distinction and the messaging and the packaging around that, Jeff, so that I can make a compelling case when I show up on their doorstep in any media? Whether it's an email, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's a referral, whether it's an introduction, whether it's an article marketing strategy, whether it's a content strategy, whether it's the interview strategy, whether it's you're using your referral posse, any of these things, if the message isn't dialed in, if it's not a client-centric, value-centric message, if it's a Jeff-centric message, that could go lots of different ways, and it's going to land with a thud. You can do it with the marketing activities and the marketing channels that you find easy, effortless, and enjoyable. And we also talked about that today. With the right language, with the right value proposition, with the right prospect language about prospect problems, and that's always going to land. That's always going to get you a callback. That's always going to get you an email reply. That's always going to get you an invitation to a conversation on how you can help them further and faster and better. So I wish it was a cookie cutter. And anyone, here's what I'm going to tell you guys right now. Anyone in this marketplace of speaker, expert, thought leadership marketing that is offering cookie cutter solutions or one size fits all, please run the other way. Run the other way, and run the other way fast, because that is the systemic cancer on this business, is that everybody wants the quick fix, everybody wants the cookie cutter answer, everyone wants the magic template, everybody wants the silver bullets, and no one's willing to think. No one's willing to think, no one's willing to work, except our clients. No one's willing to customize, no one's willing to tailor, no one's willing to listen before they talk, no one's willing to hear before they pitch, and no one is listening to develop trust before they ask. We got to transcribe that and make that a freaking blog post.
Boom. I was just going to say, I think that was the mic drop
poetic right there, people. You unleashed some poetry in me, Jeff. So to thank Jeff, I'm going to invite you to book a call at doitmarketing.com/apply, and let's get Jeff some specific tactical, practical answers that he can use right away. That's the generic answer that's going to fit everybody, meaning there is no generic answer that's going to fit everybody. But once we learn a little bit more about your business and kind of where you're going and how you'd like to get there, we can point you in the right direction.
We have one last question, Dave. I couldn't have said any of that any better. That was epic. I'm so glad this is recorded because I think it does need to be a post somewhere. Bob has our last question today, and I think it'll be a quick answer. Is it possible to achieve a keynote fee over 10K if you're not a celebrity or best-selling author? In the webinar, you talked about being notable at that 10,000 level. Is
Oh
it
my
possible to get
gosh.
that fee if you're not?
What a great freaking question. So yes, 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 and yes. And I'm
I
just
think
going
I
to
heard
drop
you say yes.
you know what? I'm going to answer that question with some names. And the names are John Garrett, and the names are Mike Thompson, and the names are Karen Batesel, and the names are Susan Robertson, and the names are Tony Lucero. And all of these are as far away, with all due respect to our clients and friends, as far away as you can possibly get from a household name. These are simply working professional speakers and experts and authors and consultants who have A, sharpened their message, B, fine-tuned their approach, C, increased their relevancy, and D, a different number has started to leave their lips. That is the only difference. Who was it that asked that question, Teresa?
That was our friend Bob Upgren.
Bob. So Bob, literally those four things, you could do this where you are with what you've got right now if you did those four things. If you did those four things, it's not a celebrity. It's not a New York Times bestseller. Don't have to wait for the book. Don't have to wait for your $1 million website redesign. Don't have to wait till you have 79 videos on your website. Don't have to wait till you're a columnist for the New York Times. Don't have to wait for anything. This is the biggest myth. I'm so glad that you asked this question. I'm so glad this is our final question. People hold themselves back with this kind of artificially self-imposed imposter syndrome where, I'm not a celebrity, so that doesn't apply to me. I don't have a New York Times best-selling book. I'm not famous. I'm not a big name. I'm not a big brand. So what I gave you there was kind of the typical brackets, right? Our clients are not typical. Our clients are going to go out there. They're going to crush it with the website they've got, with the new messaging, with the new positioning, with the new relevance, the new connection building strategies. They're not going to wait for a New York Times best-selling book. They're not going to wait till they finish their second PhD. They're not going to wait until they're famous or, interviewed on Oprah, if Oprah still had a show, which she doesn't. They're not going to wait for anything. They're not going to wait for it to happen. They're going to make it happen. They're going to make it happen, Bob. They're going to totally freaking make it happen, and they're going to make it happen at that 9,500, 10,000, 12,000, 15,000. I mean, Libby is quoting and getting 18,000. Karen is doing 15, 18,000. Eddie's getting 20,000. This is not uncommon. And again, none of that second batch of people that I mentioned are mainstream celebrities of any kind either. The question is, are you the most relevant? Are you the most connected? Have you built trust and relationship with the right buyers so they simply pick up the red bat phone and they say, Bob, got to bring you in. Bob, it's your time. Bob, I've been looking for an opportunity to work together. I think I got something. Great. How much is it? 12,500. Fantastic. It's going to be July 7th. Are you available July 7th? Do you like July 14th better? Boom, easy done. In the words of our client, Michelle, who is having a hard time getting $2,500, $3,500 gigs, 7,500. Boom, easy done. So the elevation and the escalation is based on your activity. If you do the activity, you don't need to be anybody famous. You just do it, and a different number leaves your mouth, and you start connecting with your premium clients at those premium fees.
And in the future, David, Bob is going to be another one of our names we name. So
and Bob. Bob's another success story in the making right here, right now.
That's right. That's
so
right.
Guys, I see.
That's all I've got.
That's it. Let me just congratulate some people because I got my phone going crazy here, and I will tell you who's been booking these calls. So we're talking with Carol, we're talking with Eva, we're talking with Francis, we're talking with Dawn. These are flying by so fast I can't even Can't even keep up here. We're talking to Johnny. We're talking to Rob. We're
Karen,
talking to, who else am I seeing here?
Karen and Jill and James.
And Lisa and all kinds of fantastic people. So great job, guys. I appreciate you not wanting your hard drive to be smarter than you anymore. Book the call. Let's move from information to implementation. Let's give you the path and the plan and the clarity and the roadmap to get going on this when you go to doitmarketing.com/apply. Our team doesn't bite. Well, maybe Buddy. Maybe Buddy.
But Buddy sometimes bites.
Yeah.
MH sometimes
NMH
bites.
No, but we have an awesome team of coaches that are ready and willing to bust through all of these problems, all of these challenges, and more importantly, give you the clarity and, like I said, the plan. Because you can, when you leave a webinar like this and you say, okay, go implement, go make something. It's like, well, okay, what am I implementing? What am I getting into action about? All you have now is strategies. If you want your implementation, your flavor of these strategies, your marching orders, your best fee, your best audiences, your best business model, your best revenue model, that's what we do for folks on these calls. So it's doitmarketing.com/apply. #do not let your hard drive be smarter than you. You're smarter than your hard drive, folks. Let's get you into action. Let's have the best quarter. Let's have the best 12 months. Let's have the best year in your business. All right, Teresa.
Fantastic.
That's
always a pleasure.
wrap. That is a wrap.
It's a wrap. We need one of those little scene closers and openers.
Exactly.
Cut.
Just like they have in Hollywood, right? It's like boom.
That's right.
All right, team.
All right. Always a pleasure, my friend.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.